So if you even kind of keep up with gaming media, you've probably heard of No Man's Sky. I mean, ever since the first debut trailer back in 2013, hype has basically been at an all-time high. And who could blame people for getting excited? I mean, we hear Rockstar talk about their next gigantic open world, quoting their previous game's map could fit in it X amount of times. And that's always impressive. But here you have a game that literally claims to be limitless, a concept the gaming industry hasn't ever really heard of, or rather has been put into practice. And because of that reason, I've actually been monitoring this game quite closely over the last several years. Not because I was convinced that this was going to be a genuinely good game, but because I was impressed from it from a technical standpoint all the same. Trust me, I'd have loved to genuinely be excited for this game's release, but truth be told, I think Hello Games has been far too tight-lipped since this game's initial showing. I mean, there's such a thing as not spoiling something, and then there's being so cryptic to the point where first-time players don't even know what the hell they're going to be doing when they pick up a controller. So silly me, I was waiting for the game to release, thinking I would finally get some of my questions answered so I could determine if I'd actually like the game versus pre-ordering blindly. And to my disappointment, Hello Games is continuing to withhold information even after the game is officially released. See, my major purchasing decision hinged on the prospect of multiplayer. I understand not everybody was wanting a multiplayer experience from this game, and to all those people who are genuinely having a good old time exploring the universe by your lonesome, good for you. I'm happy you like it. But for me personally, I wanted to explore this universe with a friend. Even if the chances of meeting someone were incredibly small, and we'll talk about those chances in just a minute, that would be enough for me to buy it. I would set a waypoint on my map and I would let my PC run for days till we finally flew into one another. As long as it was technically possible, that's all I wanted. And sadly, it looks like that's not really possible at this point in the game's life. See, Sean Murray, who is Hello Games' co-founder and co-creator of No Man's Sky, stated the possibility of two players running into one another is almost zero. I mean, he's really selling the fact that this game is so massive that multiplayer would almost be a pointless implementation. I mean, he said that this game is home to over 18 quintillion planets. To put that into perspective, that is enough for every person on Earth to discover 2,571,428,571 planets, and to never run into another player or discover a planet that's already been discovered. So when you're talking about such astronomically high numbers, maybe he's right. Maybe it would take years for two players to finally meet, and maybe multiplayer would be pointless. Except it should have already happened on the first day of the game's release. Yep, it seems while two players were playing the game and streaming to Twitch, one actually discovered another planet that had already been discovered. So of course, knowing the other player had to be nearby, considering it was launch day, he quickly friended him and arranged a meetup. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, when it's supposedly possible to discover billions of planets and never meet another player, who wouldn't take that opportunity? Let alone the drive of being the first explorers to ever meet in a newly released and incredibly ambitious game. So of course, they both coordinate, they both determine an exact location to meet, they get there, and despite both players standing in the exact same location, they don't see a trace of one another. And this is somewhat of a surprise because Sean himself has said in the past that players could find one another flying around. There would just be no telling if they were real or not because they weren't going to differentiate them from the AI in any way. There was always that glimmer of hope that two players could find one another, maybe embark on a journey together. I mean, if what they say is true, this shit really is 1 in a billion. If you found anybody out there, you'd have to stick together. They'd become your No Man's Sky buddy till the game was irrelevant in my opinion. I would feel incredibly lucky I found anybody, let alone got to experience the game with somebody else. So of course, the internet turns to Sean and is like, what's going on? You said this was possible, why isn't it? And the responses that they gave via tweet are so weak. He says, 2 players finding each other on a stream in the first day? That has blown my mind. You know, the more I think about the odds of this happening on launch day, the more skeptical I become when it comes to this game's size. I mean, maybe I'm wrong for doubting them, maybe there really is quintillions of planets to be discovered, but I think many others along with me are starting to wonder how much of this is truth and how much is marketing. We continue, we added a scan for other players in the galactic map to try and encourage this happening. We wanted it to happen, but the first day, He then goes on to say, "We want people to be aware that they are in a shared universe. We added online features and some Easter eggs to create cool moments. We hope to see this happening, but too many of you are playing right now, more than we could have predicted." Ah, God, really? He finishes by saying, "It is a testament to how amazing our network coders are that discoveries are still working at all." You know what? I'm sorry, but I think this is bullshit. Look, the game is out. You stated in the past that we would be able to meet. Give us a concrete answer on this so we can make an informed buying decision. Is it coming when the servers cool off or not? And give us some real answers for a change. I want to fly side by side with my friend, and I want to see him walking with me on the surface of planets. Can I expect that or not? Also, you patting yourself on the back because your game functions on release day? That seriously rubs me the wrong way. The game has been the center of attention for years now. You knew exactly what you were getting yourself into. And for the life of me, I don't know why publishers and developers just throw their hands up in the air and shrug when it comes to their game's performance on launch day. You are making millions. Throw some more grands at the servers, even if it's only for the first few weeks when the game's at its hottest. Look, I can forgive someone for keeping me in the dark because a game isn't released yet, but it's released. So give us some answers. This is FPS Fox signing out. Have a good one.